caught out of this lake this year. Well, there's a lot of big bass caught out of this lake every year. Meet Brian over there, Renee, Don, Travis, and whoever Travis is bringing, and 6 guys. And we're gonna stay at Kennedy Park. Normally we like to bass fish in February so we can catch those big girls full of eggs. But this year during Valentine's Day, it took me 2 years, but I finally got the Rona, and it ruined our bass fishing trip. So we postponed it for a month, and now we're headed over there, and it's supposed to be 90 degrees the next couple of days. I would imagine that most of these fish are trying to move up and spawn, but they all don't spawn at the same time, so maybe we can find some pre-spawn fish with some big sacks. Hopefully we can get on those, and maybe we can get a mix of spawning bass and post-spawning bass, and maybe just a mix a little bit of everything. Who knows? We might not catch a damn thing. Who knows? This lake has had an extreme amount of pressure this year because they just caught the lake record, 17 pounds. They've caught 6 or 7 16s, 4 or 5 15s or 14s, and a bunch of 13s, and there's a bunch of 12s, 10s, 9s, 8s. There's a bunch of big fish caught out here. But we'll get over here, and if anything, we'll get to visit with some friends I haven't seen in a long time, and we'll just have some time on the water. Don't forget to like and subscribe on the channel, and I appreciate all of the subscribers that I've had so far, which is a little bit over 300. Appreciate it so much. So we'll get back with you when we get there. Out. Today, the wind is always blowing in West Texas, and they're not producing electricity for all the Teslas. I mean, come on, look at this. They're not even moving. Well guys, we made it over here to Ivie, and there's nobody here. Hopefully all these guys are going up the river and they're white bass fishing for spring break. I don't think there's a bass fisherman here. Well guys, here we are in the trailer park. This is where we'll be staying, waiting on the house to get here. But I can tell you right now, old Wheeler's gonna be pissed because the previous people left this big old freaking hog waller right here. It ain't gonna be good at all. So I can't really tell if that's sewage or if that's just fresh water. It's kind of hard to tell at this point. I know he's not going to be happy. Are you wearing shorts out there? No, I'm wearing these long pants. Fishing pantalones. Well, so here's an update. Brian throws his gear in, get the trailer set up, and then I'm just going to take the motor toter off. Try to take the motor toter off, and there's no tilt and trim because the battery's dead. Anyway, so $200 battery, and
I got 6 volts after it's been on the charger for 2 days. So, guess we're gonna go buy a battery. What's going on, people? It is 6:30 in the morning. We are getting ready to go fishing. License plate number. I wonder how many people actually know their license plate number. Gotta get our rods and all that. It's not even that cold out here.
Huh?
It's not even that bad. Dude, there's like 40 people already.
Huh?
It's like 40 people already leaving. We're on the lake. 7:45, and there's Donna Renee. Wave, Donna Renee.
Day one.
We're just waiting on Travis and who?
DJ.
And DJ. We'll get back with you when we get some more action. Out. So here we are with Donna Renee, and we caught an 8-pounder. Yeah, real pretty colors.
Black it is, dude. Get pretty. Nice.
And Renee's? How big is Renee's? Oh, that's Renee's? Man, it looks like a leopard. Those are real pretty colors.
Yeah, they're real dark. Real black. That's a small one.
Oh, that's still good though. That's better than we did. Well, early morning spinner baits, huh?
Top water.
Well, I mean, that's spinner baits.
Yeah.
Top. I mean, that's what I was telling Brian. I said, if you're fishing those spinner baits right 4 inches under the water, you might as well just keep fishing the top water. That's a real pretty fish. God damn, we ain't coming back over here no more. Take all our damn money.
Oh shit, both days it's been down.
Both days. You might as well just, we should have just gave you $120 when he got here yesterday.
Sandbagging.
Yeah, sandbagging. He probably had him in a cage over there.
I had corn just feeding it.
Well, we didn't get any footage of fishing the last 2 days because it's really hard to film when you're fishing, and we didn't really catch a whole lot, but our buddies did, which you'll see the footage of those fish. And we basically tried a lot of deep water stuff since the water temperature was 58 degrees, and they weren't deep, so we switched it up and went shallow and went up in the back some coves that were 62, 63 degrees, and then later in the evening went to 67 degrees, and we found some fish back in those coves, and they wouldn't really hit anything but spinner baits. So we started throwing spinner baits, and I lost two spinner baits on fish that broke me off. I guess I had a little nick in the line from throwing it on the brush, but they were pretty good fish. You could actually see them come up and eat it. And then our buddies Don and Renee, they ended up catching an 8 and a 5, and we caught a bunch of 2s, quite a few 2s, and then Brian even caught a white bass on a spinner bait. So it was okay. It's not bad. It's just learning. What are you making?
I'm rubbing the meat.
Oh, you don't have to rub my meat. My meat's already rubbed.
I'm not gonna rub your meat, I promise.
I got a little more fat on my meat.
Look at that. That's good stuff right there.
It's good. So, 450 beers later, probably 14 days worth of sun in 2 days. Got plenty of vitamin D this weekend, that's for sure. Anyway, so we're gonna cook some steaks, we're gonna drink some beers, and maybe even go to bed a little early tonight. The whole parking lot's empty. I do want to say this: if you really want to fish hard and you want to fish where the fish are, you're gonna have to get your boat scratched up a little bit, because we went in some sticks. We were 4 foot of water, so there were sticks everywhere. So that's something to take into account when you want to get in there and get where the fish are. But other than that, man, it was a pretty good day. Learned some new stuff. I'm not really a spinnerbait fisherman. I'm really a deep water kind of guy with jigs and plastics and stuff, but definitely learned some stuff today. Holy cow, what is that? I thought there were 3 of them.
Look at him winging. He's waving at us. You see him? He moved his wings.
Are those old?
No, those are the new ones.
They look old as shit.
No, those are the old ones. Those are
Look at the way the tail is.
C-130s.
No, C-130 is 2 times bigger than that.
Wow, dude, that's cool. Buzz the lake. That's awesome.
Oh, look how low they are.
Yeah, and they really aren't flying very fast. Look at them. Check them out, dude.
Well, that's the most exciting thing we've seen than Don's 8-pounder. This stupid lake.
Hey guys, I forgot to do an outro for that last fishing trip at Lake Ivie. We didn't really get onto them until the second to last day, and the last day on Tuesday we didn't even fish, because fishing 12 hours a day for 3 days straight was pretty tough. So what we ended up figuring out is those fish, even though the main lake was 58 degrees, and we tried to fish a lot of deep water stuff the first couple of days, because we were just usually fishing deep water, you know, when the water's 58 degrees. But those fish, a lot of those fish had already moved up in the back of the coves where it was 65, 66 degrees, and like the big fish. We caught a lot of 2s and 2.5s and little fish like that, but Brian had hung a really good one. I mean, his mouth was probably over 9 pounds, and on a spinnerbait, and we were chunking and throwing spinnerbaits everywhere, and that was our most successful pattern, was 1.5 to 3 foot of water with spinnerbaits. And I broke a fish off. It came up and broke my spinnerbait off, and so we finally figured something out. But let me tell you, about 2,500 casts all day, and you're ready to go home. But it was a good trip. We had fun. Renee ended up catching an almost 5, and Don pulled in an 8, and they didn't have a net, so he just boat flipped it in. So that tells me he wasn't using light line. But anyway, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Sorry, there's not a whole lot of content fishing wise. It's so hard to bass fish or catch everything with bass fishing. You got to have the camera rolling every second in order to catch everything, because it's just you just never know what fish you're gonna get a bite on.